When Buddha was giving his first sermon in Sarnath, before we go into the intricacies of the education or the teachings Buddha had on his followers, of the monastic life, what we will be discussing in subsequent period, let us talk, let us have a glimpse of what was the educational system, or what is the monastic life, and what was the Buddhist education in comparison to that of Brahmanical religion, a Brahmanical system. So Brahmanical system hold the education as based in Guru Gruha, or sitting at the teacher's house. The education took place between the individual teacher and the small groups of disciples and pupils who were assembled around the teacher. But in Buddhist tradition, in contrast, we find a system of monastic, since it functioned within the regime of the monastic life. Monasteries were not just places for meditation, but also a seat for culture and learning. It reflected the process of inner intellectual life of the monasteries. At the time of Buddha, royal patronage and merchant support were the main sources for funding these monasteries. Then education under the Brahmanical system did not favor the expansion of small school under individual teacher into large educational institutions. But on the contrary, in Buddhist education system we find the teachings enabled to accommodate a large number of students into large scale monasteries, as we have seen in different places throughout the history. We find the monasteries like Nalanda, Ballavi, Bikramshila, Jagdala, and some monasteries in Orissa. So we have large monasteries where we have the records of various pilgrims coming there from 4th century to 6th century BC even. This showed many students, many monks from different parts of the world used to come to these monasteries to have educations there. The initial Buddhist education system was known to be Nishaya, meaning dependence on one teacher. Laypersons who joined the group or the Sangha, in later time it was known, would have spiritual guidance, acharya, of the person who was teaching of at least 10 years of experience. Buddha's teaching was imparted by word of mouth and retained in the memory, like the Vedas in the initial period and the Brahmins. They were only recital, and from one generation to the other it used to go from father to son. Similarly, in Buddhist Buddha's teachings, what Buddha taught was imparted by word to mouth. Buddha spoke it and people started remembering those things, and it continued to remain in the people's memory. And the teaching materials were covered in the monastic rules called Vinaya, whatever he said, in the holy legends, Buddhist moral fables about the stories of Buddha and Buddha's teaching and Buddha's previous life and present life is recorded in texts called Jatakas, hymnology and fundamental doctrines. The purpose of the class teaching was to fix the text of the canon in the memory by means of recitation. The Buddhist, whatever Buddha told, when the teachers they started reciting it, it got recorded in their memories, and people continue to learn about that in the monasteries. Then there is a need to understand the social and political background of India between the Buddha, prior to Buddha and during the time Buddha lived and propagated the Dhamma. It will improve our comprehension of different Buddhist sutras or the verses which we have to understand. India experienced significant and social political conflict with Vedic civilization within 16 Mahajanapadas, as I was telling earlier, consolidated into 4 different states, becoming unified empire, and Vedic civilization with Chaturvarnasrama, or the 4 stages of Varna, and the caste system, the division in the society. Buddhism emerged as a social reform because uh, Brahmanical religion or the Vedic society, when it was divided into different caste systems, different varnas, and gradually it became hereditary, which was not supposed to be, and in which the Brahmanas claimed supremacy and didn't allow others to come to the same stage or same pedestal like them. So there was a social revolt amongst the people who were not happy with the system, and that time Buddhism emerged as a social reform with the new social order, and Buddhism removed all the communal barriers in the society and promoted the equality and justice of the noble acts. Buddha criticized other contemporary teachers who held wrong views. The Buddha, as a social reformer, preached its teaching by eradication wrong and misleading views in the society. In response to the Brahmanical doctrines or education system, Buddha established monastic system, the Sangha, which could accommodate large number of people, large group of monks, where monks lived in Vinaya and Dhamma, the only guide for Buddha's parinirvana. Therefore, we preserve Buddha's teaching by reciting the sutras and understanding his doctrines with his social background, so that we will have a right view on Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, which is known as Three Ratnas. Now, when Buddha passed away, when Buddha attained Nirvana, before that he established the Sangha, and in the Sanghas the monks were there, and the expansion of religious community was there. At that time, peculiarly, the nuns were not allowed, and it is because of the insistence of one of the Buddha's disciple, he allowed the woman disciple to be nuns to be there in the monastic order, in the Sangha, and from various walks of life, numerous people came and joined the Sangha and followed the Buddhist teachings. Ananda, one of the chief disciples of Buddha, asked Buddha, what next? How we are going to proceed? What we are supposed to do? And to Ananda's reply, Buddha did not give the name any one to be his successor. Buddha never nominated anybody to be the successor of Buddha himself. Only the Buddha's teaching, which continued for some time after that, we'll see in my subsequent lectures. I'll be telling you how Buddhism as a religion went to become a world religion after Nirvana of